Welcome to today's episode of Reality Rockstars of Real Estate. I'm Cynthia.
I'm Laura.
And today we have a special guest. His
Yes,
name is John
Altic.
Altic.
It's our broker over here in JLA. We have, what do we talk about? Over 1,200 agents, 25 plus offices. We've been in business since 2011, and we decided to make him a part of one of our episodes. Thank you, John, for being with us.
Yes, he's our boss, so
Yeah.
we got to be good with the boss.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I love doing these. It's fun to get out and chat with agents and put this type of content out here. It's always fun to like, what's going on, right? That's what these are all about. Is what's happening in the world of real estate.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So, John, I've heard you are a chocolate man. What does that mean? What kind of chocolate man were you?
I wonder that. When you say chocolate,
Were you like a gingerbread man?
but in chocolate.
So, yes, I was the chocolate man. I spent 14 years working for Hershey Chocolate, sales and marketing. And it was fun. A great company to work for. Learned a ton. I'm one of those guys that has a really bad degree. So my 4-year degree is in exercise and sports science. So I thought I was going to be an athletic trainer. I thought I was going to, be this great. Yeah. And then, I went to a job fair. I'm one of the few guys that actually got a job from going to a job fair and standing in line for 8 hours, and worked there. Ironically, my wife worked for Wrigley Gum at the same time. So gum, I did chocolate. It was a candy family. And it was great. We had unlimited supplies of chocolate at our house
and gum.
And gum. Yeah. So it was quite. Halloween was an interesting adventure at our house, and
that's what you get.
Yeah, it was. I used to give away king size candy bars for Halloween, so my house was the hottest house on the. Oh yeah, everybody wanted to come there.
Do you still do that?
No.
We're not going over there.
What's the funny part is right after I left Hershey and went full time into real estate, I sold my house and moved at the same time. And the following year, the guy that bought my house sends me a text message on Halloween. He's like, "What did you didn't tell me?" Because people are showing up, knocking on the door, looking for king size candy bars. I don't live there anymore, right?
So making that happen.
Yeah, they were. He's like, you didn't prep me for that, so we're in for a ride. But yeah, that's my backstory.
You didn't put that in the seller's disclosure?
No, I did not disclose that. I should have, right? Like, FYI, Halloween, don't stay home, go.
Right?
So, yeah.
Turn off the lights.
So you were working with chocolate. Like, what made you want to become a realtor?
So we moved here. My wife and I are both originally from Missouri. Okay. And we moved to Houston in 2001 on my wife's reload. Wrigley Gum moved her down here. And then Hershey brought me down about 6 months later. But my wife traveled. We didn't have kids, so she was gone a lot. So I started flipping houses as a hobby. Something to do with my time because she would leave on Sunday or Monday, come back on Friday, and I was more local. So back then, you could buy a HUD home for like 30 grand, like foreclosure. So I buy these HUD homes, and I'm super handy. So I can fix anything, I can build anything. So I was doing all the work myself and flipping them or turning them into rentals. So that was my journey into real estate. And then I woke up one day and like, why am I paying a realtor? I should get my real estate license. I think that'd be a great idea, right? So got my real estate license 2007 and went to work for Century 21 because I had a friend that worked there. And that was, it was just kind of doing my own deals. I'd do a friend here, a friend there. And it just started to kind of like, I really enjoyed it a lot. And then had the opportunity in '08 to buy into that Century 21. And so I went in partners with another couple there and owned a Century 21 franchise for a couple years. And then in 2010, I realized I don't make a good franchise guy. If you know me, you know I don't follow rules very well. And I'm certainly not wearing a gold Century 21 jacket. Like, that's just not my color. So I sold my portion of the Century 21 and opened JLA on a whim. I was still with Hershey the whole time. So even running the Century 21, I'm still with Hershey, doing my thing. And then Hershey made the move for me. So, yeah, what happened there? I got a call October 12th, 2013. Remember, like it happened yesterday, from my boss at Hershey. He goes, "Hey, I need you to meet me at the airport tomorrow. I'll have HR with me." And I'm like, "Oh, what did I do wrong now?" Right? So I met him, and basically they were doing away with my territory in Houston. So I was based out of Houston. They're like, "We're doing away with the territory. It's going to be merged into Dallas. We'd love for you to stay at Hershey. We've got other jobs in other parts of the country. You can interview for those. You can go do whatever you want. We're just not going to have a Houston territory." And was a tough decision.
Right.
So my wife had quit corporate America. We had 2 young daughters at the time. And so I was the main breadwinner. And that was good money, right? I mean, you're making a salary. I had a company car, all the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a couple of weeks, my wife and I I didn't sleep, right? We're tossing this around. And she finally said, listen, just take a package. You want to do this real estate thing. You love it. You're passionate about it. You can always find that corporate job again. Let's just go all in on this. So I did. I took the package, left January 1 of 2014. And at that time, I had about 15 agents working out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have an office. We were just working out of my house. And I went ahead and went all in, opened the first office May 5th of 2014. At that time, I think we had right at 20 agents when I opened the office.
Mm-hmm.
Scary, bleeding money like there's no tomorrow, not sure what it's going to look like. And but I had this vision, this idea. Now, I will tell you, my first business plan had me closing a lot of volume, 35, 40 agents to cover the bills, and it got out of control in a hurry. Really quickly, we started getting new agents join. And so from 2013 to today, what is that, 9 years, 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
2014, so it's 9 years. We've grown to the size we are now. Scary.
1,200 agents.
1,200
Yes.
agents.
And counting.
And you know, you can't do that without great people. And if I don't stop here and say, like, I maxed out at about 85, 90 agents that I could handle myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever Kim Scott, Amanda Seidel, Ronnie Dees, people like that started coming on, and we're like, okay, if we're going to do this, you can't do it by yourself. Okay. And I'll say this because I think, you know, if we're talking business, there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, self-made anymore.
Oh,
if
that's
you
right.
don't have, if you don't have people around you to
You
help
need to have
you,
a
you're
team.
never going to get, you're never going to get there.
Yeah. You didn't
And
make it there.
no.
No.
Well, I would, my hair would be completely white.
Yes.
At this point, I'd look like I was 110. It would be bad. It'd be super bad. So that's my journey to this point. And I think it's right place, right time, right people,
Mhm.
and having fun. You know, my whole key is if you're not having fun, why are we doing this?
Why? Yeah.
So selling chocolate
doing
was
it?
fun, right? Selling chocolate was fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It sounds delicious.
It was, and if you.
also,
Oh, I gained so much weight doing that. And if you can't sell chocolate, you can't sell anything, right? And so I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people, learned a lot. I wouldn't be here today without the knowledge I got from Hershey. So I credit them for a lot of that. And then, then taking that chance to plunge out on your own. There's never a right time to leave your day job and jump into real estate full time. Dual career. A lot of agents are dual career. They have their one job and they have real estate.
Yeah.
There's never going to be the ideal time, but sometimes God will tell you when it's getting ready. We're going to make that happen, right?
How scary was that?
No, it was so scary. And, I remember telling my wife, the office had been open 6 or 8 months, and I remember calling her and saying, listen, you can't get your nails done this week. We don't have it, right? And that's a tough thing to say, especially as the main breadwinner, is to say, listen, we're
going to have to cut some expenses.
Christmases got real tight, like everything got tight, right? But as long as you
We're going to start making our own clothes.
right. As long as you keep your eye on the prize, like, okay, I know this will work. And, you got to have, I will tell you this too, you got to have that person that's backing you. And my wife is always like, hey, I don't really necessarily see your vision, but you see it and I'm going to trust you.
Yes.
Because my wife and I are very opposite. She's very detail oriented. She's very black and white. Things fit in a box. Things have to make sense. So sometimes, a lot of times I don't make sense to her. I don't make sense to most people. Let's just go there, right? But it's having that support that, like, we got this, we're going to get on the other side of it. And that's how we got here today. So, yes, it's scary. And no, there's never going to be the right time. But you just got to jump in and do it. And at some point, you just be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this plunge. And then don't look back. What I
That's right.
see a lot.
Don't look back.
Don't look back. I see a lot of agents saying, well, if this doesn't work, I can go do this. Or if you're telling yourself it's not going to work, right?
Yes.
It's all about a mindset. It's like, this is my gig. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in. I'm not worried about what I'm leaving.
Right.
I'm just going to go forward and
Just
make it happen.
Yes, because if you put all your energy and everything on that, then that's
Yep.
how you make it. So
You got it.
It's really good. How do you handle taking the blame?
When we make some oopsies.
Yeah, no.
I mean, for us as agents, it's easy whenever we know our JLA rules and everything, and it's like, well, my broker doesn't let me, but you have to receive those calls every day.
I do. And luckily, it's been a slow progression to the point we are now. I had fewer agents meant fewer issues, right? And as we've grown, you have these issues, and I do tell. I mean, you guys have heard me say it. I blame your broker, blame me
Right.
for everything,
Mhm.
and I don't get a lot of calls. Most people think I should get more, but I don't get as many. But when I do, a lot of people want to be heard. Okay,
Mhm.
they're upset, they're frustrated, and they want somebody to hear them and just say, "Hey, I see what you're saying."
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, there are times where there's just all kinds of messes going on. Somebody's screwed up. And I will say this on average, JLA agents don't make a lot of mistakes. Okay. I'm knocking on wood here. But you got to remember in every real estate transaction, you usually have two realtors. You got a lender, you got appraisers, you got a buyer and a seller, you
Title
got
company.
inspectors, you got a
Yes.
title company. So somewhere in that, something will go wrong, right?
A
Not
lot.
not could, but will go wrong. And a lot of the times I spend those issues. I have to spend a lot of time explaining the process
Mhm.
because the average person doesn't know, or they Googled something, which doesn't. Google isn't always right. And just listening to them and hearing them and finding solutions. And it's amazing how many times I say, "Well, what would make this better?"
Right.
It's amazing how many people don't even know, and they'll just say, "Well, I just wanted somebody to listen to me, right? I wanted somebody to hear me." Yeah,
Just hear me out.
And again, I think it's taking that personal side.
Mhm.
You know, the big part of real estate is to be personable and to listen. Whether you're a listing agent, a buyer's agent, whether you're a broker, be personable. Listen, try and understand where they're coming from, and just open up. I talk a lot, so
Mhm.
I had to really learn early on. Shut
To
up
listen.
and just listen,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Like listen, and they'll tell you.
Yes. There's a lot of emotions going on.
Oh
with this
yeah.
transaction.
Well, and that's the best thing about being the broker is I get to take. I'm not
Take
emotionally
emotion.
involved, right?
Yes.
I'm just
Uh-huh.
tell me the facts. What's
Yes.
going on
What
here,
happened?
and then put the emotions away and solve the problems.
Mhm.
Okay, so as realtors, we get to ask some strange questions. For example, are there any ghosts in the house?
Well,
Is anyone buried in the backyard?
I think she's, well, never mind.
We're letting Julie
Can
off
my
our
dog come
subject.
see the house?
Can
And
I
the-
use the bathroom?
That's the one we hate, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially when they're like everything is
can I
dark.
use the bathroom? Is like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like this is a stranger's house. Like you don't want to leave something behind, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's a stinker.
What is this stranger questions you would ask
Yeah, gosh,
as a broker and an agent?
I get a lot of them come to me from the broker side. And sometimes you just shake your head. You're like, I don't even know where this is coming from. I have no idea what you're talking about. And you got to remember, in real estate, we do get exposed to who people really are, right? You don't know somebody until you spend time in their house and in their life, right? And sometimes the hardest part is when you get those questions from close friends and family, right? You're like, what? Yeah, I've had all of those that you have there. I've had all of those when I was in production or even as a broker. A lot of them that come to me, it's the strange stuff. Like, I remember one day where the day before closing and the buyer calls me and says, I want to dig up my trees in the backyard and take them with me. I was like, you want your trees? You're going to dig up your trees.
Just buy some new trees.
No, and we've had it where we've gone to do the final walkthrough, and the agent will call me and say, "Hey, they dug up all the fruit trees in the
How
backyard."
big were they?
I don't know. I mean, but it's like so. A lot of those things happen, and you're like, "Wow, okay, that's interesting." I think a lot of it is that we live in our houses, and what we think is normal, most people may not think is normal. And the things you see, that's what always used to get me is when I'd go out with my buddies on the weekends and like, tell me some real estate stories, and I'm like, oh, I've got days worth of them. Just things that you see in people's houses. You're like, you're going to need to remove that life-size nude picture above your bed because that is not going to be. Oh no! I mean, I remember that early on. I was a brand new agent. A referral. It was a referral from a friend of mine. He's like, hey, they want to list their house. Can you go? And I go over there and I meet with them. And that's above the master bed was this life-size nude photo of the two of them. And I was like,
can you please
remove that and slide that under your bed because we don't need to.
We already know we're moving.
It's not going to look good in the pictures, right? Like the photographer's not going to enjoy that, right? So I think you've got one thing I tell new agents. Just be prepared. Something every day is going to surprise you, and you need to look like it doesn't surprise you. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff in this business, but it makes for good laughter on the weekends with people that aren't in real estate.
What is your most memorable real estate story?
Oh gosh, real estate's is one of those industries where you do get to impact people's lives, right? And for whatever reason, they're moving up or they're buying their first house. I used to love first-time home buyers, right? Because they've been renting for 3, 4, 5, 7 years and they get to buy their first house. But from a broker perspective, I remember I brought this agent on early on. She was probably one of our first 20 agents, and a single mom.
Mhm.
And she's struggling where she was. She had done a few leases, was thinking about getting out, and I said, just come over, do what I tell you to do, because you know I teach marketing. That's what I think. We're going to push marketing from day one. I said, do the marketing things, you will get business. So the following summer, this was like fall, so another year plus the following summer, I get a phone call from her. She's at the airport, and I can hear her. I can hear the PA guy at the airport. And I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, hey, I want to thank you, because I'm getting ready to take my daughter out to Disney. It's the first vacation we've ever been on. She's 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted to thank me for that. So for me as a broker, those are the things where, you know, you're impacting people's lives. You're helping them go from where they were to where they, you know, and that's what makes real estate so much fun is it's unlimited, right?
Yes.
When you have a corporate job, you know what you're going to make, and then you may get a 3% pay raise every year, but then you may not. And then, so in real estate, the harder you want to work, the more money you can make. Now, yes, it's the economy can affect that, or you just may not have that. You know, all your friends may have bought a house already. We've all been through that stuff. But as a general rule, the more you put into real estate, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yes.
And watching people get their real estate business up and going, and not that, you know, I'm not doing it. I'm not the one answering their phone call, but I'm providing the motivation, I'm providing the ideas around marketing and pushing them, right? I think we all need pushes.
Motivate.
Yeah, that's my thing, right? We all need motivation every day. I don't care who you are. Somebody's got to be motivating
to get
you.
out of
We
bed.
have our Zoom calls Monday mornings and Thursday mornings, and as soon as we click in, we're motivated.
He's already started with the music.
Yeah, no, you're gonna get it. It's gonna come up. When if you think about it, everybody's an independent contractor. So nobody's gonna call you and say, what time are you getting out of bed? What time are you going to work? And what are you doing
today?
No, nobody's asking that, right? If you're not motivated, and it's hard to self-motivate. I don't care who you are. You can read all the self-help books in the world. You can read all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's just those times where you're like, I don't have it. Right.
And you have to surround yourself with people that will
absolutely
motivate you.
Yes.
Yep.
It's very, very important.
Well, that's why I talk about your 5. You know, if you've been on my Zoom calls that I talk about your 5, you've got to have 5 people around you that are clapping when you're winning, that hold the umbrella over you when it's raining, that push you when you need, because we all need it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what level you are. I've got mine.
Yes.
Because, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty wired most of the time. My wife gets real tired of it. 28 years of this, because there's one button on or off, right? But
there's not a dimmer.
No, there's not a dimmer switch on this. It's full on. But even then, I'm going to have those days, as wired as I am, and as motivated as I am. I'm going to have those days where I need that. And so I'm a big fan of that, and that's something that I really enjoy doing. So as a broker, I'm in the right spot to be doing that.
Well, you watch our last episode of the most, not the unusual, but the stuff that we carry with us, and I mean,
in our car.
we had our trunks packed with everything. What is the most unusual thing that you carry?
Oh gosh, since I don't buy and sell anymore, I'm not a little bit different. But I always had that kit like you guys were talking about, because you got to have the bug spray, you got to have that. But I used to zip ties.
Oh, we forget about zip ties.
So zip ties is something that I'm a huge fan of zip ties, and I still carry them today in my truck because you can zip tie a sign back together. You can zip tie, you know, if you've got something broken. But then a funny story on this. So for several years, my youngest daughter was in competitive cheer. Well, last year they had them doing this bun, the fake bun, right? Like the fake hair that they put on top, and you had to put it in. Well, you're bobby pinning it. And my wife was with my wife when I would split up. She would go with my oldest daughter to do dance, so I was cheer dad, right? So I'm bobby pinning it. I'm like, it's not working. I told my daughter, hold on, I got an idea. So I go down. We're in a hotel in Dallas. I go down to my truck. I get my zip ties, and I zip tie that hairpiece.
Oh, it didn't go.
It didn't go anywhere. Well, then all the other moms are like, why is her so good? I'm like, you got to get zip ties, right? So zip ties would be the one thing that I carry that people are like.
On our next episode, we're going to have buns, and we're going to have
zip tie your bun in.
It was probably the most popular dad.
Oh yeah, no, they're not going anywhere. So zip ties, I'm a big fan of zip ties. Everybody should have them in their vehicle.
No,
all the
I
time.
agree. I just barely start carrying them. I learned the hack about the signs, and now I carry them.
Zip ties, they're amazing.
Totally agree.
So our last question is, where is JLA headed?
Oh gosh, had I 9, 10 years ago been told we would be here, I would have told you you're crazy. I'm a big planner, so I've got these crazy, wild ideas of where I want to take JLA, where it's capable of going. But you can only do it with the right people.
Right.
Right.
I tend to feel like you grow a company when you have the right people that are willing to lace up their shoes and grow with you, right?
Correct.
And that's a big piece of it. So, in an ideal world, what I would like to see, I mean, you're going to see some new offices opening this year across Texas and Oklahoma. Studying to take my broker's license in Oklahoma because we're going to be there. We've got some really cool collaborative efforts going on with Mexico City right now. So you're going to see some international stuff happening.
Nice.
And more than anything, the big piece of where we're going is continue to have fun. Right. I mean, if you're
That's
not,
what it's all about.
I don't know, life is so short,
is.
right?
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
and I see these
You
people.
gotta get up every morning and just be excited.
Yes.
And we're here.
And
And
you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong, but
Yes.
I have friends that are in corporate America and they're just not happy, right? I
Right.
don't care how much money you're making. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it with the right people. If you're not, I felt like the kaleidoscope Chuck Taylors,
Yes.
tie-dye Chuck Taylors today.
Tie-dye.
You tie-dye Chuck Taylors.
And look at his shirt. It's tie-dye
Well,
too, kind
this
of.
is how I felt today. You can't get up and do that in corporate America.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So my whole thing, where's JLA headed? We're going to continue to do all the great things we've been doing. More community stuff, more give back programs, more growth with the right people, and with fun being the core value. That's just what we do.
Awesome.
That's what we do.
Yes. Well, we're excited. You'll be part of the JLA.
Oh, hey, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
we love JLA.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop right now. I know you guys have your stuff. It's my turn, right? These two, they're passionate, right? And they're fun. I've never been around these two that they weren't laughing about something.
We
And
always are.
they
Yeah.
feed off each other. That's what success looks like, right? You can't be out here on your own trying to do this. If there's any advice, and it doesn't have to be real estate. Anything you're doing entrepreneur related, anything, even in corporate America, if you don't have those people that have your back and you can laugh with, and that's what I love about these two. Like every time I'm around them, there's some kind of laughter happening. But you know what? That's where success comes from. Okay, and you guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you for having me on your episode.
Well, thank you for coming.
I'll be back. You got to invite me back. Like we'll come up with some other questions. But I love the energy. So life's about energy. When your energy is moving in the right direction with fun attitude, great things happen.
We'll bring you more
Yeah.
great stuff.
We're gonna come up with some other questions.
Yeah.
And if the rest could hear us in our office
That's
on the daily, yeah.
what it's all about.
Yeah, when we're not recording.
Right. So like us and subscribe to our channel. And we would love to hear your comments. So write your comments and then we can discuss them next time.
Yes, we have some great content bringing up, so like, subscribe.
Take care.